Bang, bang, bang. What's going on, everybody? Because I'm a Fury here, Blue Collar Gamer, and rest in peace, Resident Evil. Yeah, it's a sad day, and that day seems like it's coming true. Being a YouTuber, I kind of get this reaction from, and you could tell it's from a bunch of teenage fuckboys leaving these. Well, you're retarded if you think Resident Evil sucks. Blah, 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 blah. Resident Evil 7 doesn't suck. You retarded. You know, a mature person who's a fan of the series would not come at me like that at all. If you were mature in the first place, maybe you living your fantasies out of being a loudmouth on YouTube. I don't care, but come with some facts. Now, you telling me Resident Evil 7 was great? I'm sorry. It undersold, okay? And now, I don't care what the scores are. Scores are not definitive, basically, of a game. They aren't. You know, back in the day, I used to be able to, how can I say? Like, well, this game got a good score. And then I played the game, and then I was like, you know what? It got a good score, but I'm not feeling it. Now I understand what that means as an adult. So I don't give a damn what Resident Evil 7 received. When it got into the hands of the fans, the long-time 20-plus year fans of Resident Evil like myself, because yes, I'm up there. I've been playing Resident Evil since it came out, alright? I've been playing it from the beginning since I was a teenager, a young teenager. So don't tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about, alright? And don't try to say that I don't want this, I'm not growing with the series. The series is going that way, alright? It was going here, and I was on that path. Then it just took a sharp-ass left turn, alright? And it's all for money. Like I said in my video, Resident Evil 7 is not that good. Let me explain what that means. Resident Evil 7 is not that good. It sucks as a Resident Evil game, but what makes it redeeming in that, as it stands as a game, if you just went into your mind and said, look, this ain't a Resident Evil 7 game, but for what it is, this is alright. But don't try to tell me this is Resident Evil 7, because it's not. Alright? I don't care about Tensu, the company that helped out HCF and Code Veronica and all that. I know that already. But we really built that into, how can we say, the lore of the game. When have they built that into the lore of the game? Like, we have so many things they just want to pull out and just throw stuff in there, throw touches in there and stuff, but they not finessing the game, right? First of all, the story is inconsistent inside 7. I'm not talking about Resident Evil in general, but well, I'm gonna get to why it's R.I.P. Resident Evil in a moment. Okay, like I said, the story lacked. It really lacked. It was inconsistent, especially with the serum parts, especially with the rest of this game. And we supposed to be getting, oh, not a hero, downloadable content to continue the game, where we get to play as Chris, and we figure out maybe they supposed to go after Lucas and finish the game. The game came out in fucking January. The game came out in January, and you telling me you outsourced your downloadable content to a different company, didn't like what you saw, and now you're going to take longer time with it to fix it? You should have done it from the beginning. Or better yet, you should have finished the goddamn game, because we all know this game is not finished. Alright? There was so many different characters was deleted. There's so much unused stuff. Like I said in my last video, what happened to this? What happened to the blonde-haired the female that we saw, the life scans based off a real woman? What happened to the zombie-like faces that we saw being scanned into the game? What happened to supposedly having meat scanned into the game to have characters made to look gross? All we got was the same 4 variations of the molded throughout the whole game. And then we got a stalker. We got Jack Baker. He was following through the game. You know, you fight him in the garage and stuff, and then he blows his brains out from you. Then you find he comes after you later on as he's regenerating and stuff. And then you fight him again down there in the pit when he got like some kind of fucking chainsaw thing. He's coming after you, and you gotta expose the shit on his back and let it come out on some El Gigante shit from Resident Evil 4 and 5. You know? You turn the same kind. It's like no variation of BOWs. You just got the same molded. I get it. It's a confined area. I get it. I'm not gonna. I just thought about it. It's a confined area. All right, great. But this game, as it stands as a Resident Evil game, it's not a Resident Evil game. This game could have been something. If Capcom was smart, they would have turned this into something new and took their time with the Resident Evil 7. You know, this game was 60. Last year, this game, sometime in the middle of last year, this game was only about 60 something complete. And the leaked emails have already stated that Capcom's like, hey, delays are not tolerated. So what they did do, they pushed out this game. They made it go gold. They pushed this game out. They finished it. They cut it whole. They did a Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain on this game. And that's what we end up with now as RE7. Now we got to wait for them to catch up and complete the game. But, the game was incomplete. What do we call the game that we should have got? Downloadable content. That's what we call it these days with most games now. Now, let me get into why I'm saying rest in peace Resident Evil. Because there's a group of people out here who really aren't versed in Resident Evil. They see people like Jacksepticeye, they see PewDiePie, they see Markiplier, people like that play that, and oh my god, it's so scary. Oh my god, they overreact. You're fucking overreacting, alright? You fucking overreacting. You're dialing up. This game is not that scary. Alright? It's tense, of course. You're in a confined area, you can't shoot. But like, as for a genuine horror experience where you actually feel terrified and an enemy can come out at you at random, no, this is not a scary game. You know, we all know how over the top those three guys are. They three of the most popular Let's Play guys online. And they all act the same. We got a Swedish one, we got an Irish one, and we got an American one. And they all basically from the same cloth, just different parts of the world. So you see, these are the fanboys right here that's going to ruin the series. Those are the fanboys who follow these guys and think this game is great. But then you got Resident Evil fans that been there from day one. Day one, when we were scared shitless before the DualShock version came out and you had to manually aim it. Try doing that now. Try manually aiming it in third person at a hunter who can run at you and cut your head off with one swipe, even though you got a full body of health because you stood in place too long. Imagine that. I have the Sega Saturn version of Resident Evil. That was it. No. Now in that version, you had to manually aim. Manually aim. Try getting a headshot with that one, people. They put out versions with the DualShock. The DualShock version gave you the auto aim. Best thing that could happen in Resident Evil 1. Alright? That was the best thing that could happen to it before the GameCube remake, which was later remastered on the Xbox 360, the PS3, the Xbox One, and the PS4. When that was laid, that was the GameCube version. That DualShock version was the best thing that could happen to the Resident Evil game. It lowered the difficulty, but the game still was tough. It still was tough. Alright? You fans today of Resident Evil 7 thinking it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, y'all don't know shit about Resident Evil. You don't. A lot of you fans today, anybody else who feel as outraged at Capcom as I do, who's been playing this game for quite a long time, even those who came in on the GameCube. I know there's people out there younger than me, but they came in on the remake to the GameCube remake to Part 1. They know what the hell I'm talking about. Those guys are like 20 in the mid to late 20s by now. They know what I'm talking about. So I don't have no disrespect to them. I'm talking about you fans today who didn't give a fuck about the past Resident Evil games, but you seen it being played and it looks like every typical first person survival game. You thought it was great. I'm talking to you people. You're killing this series, because if you're gonna get in there and you're gonna influence Capcom is about their money, all right, and they gotta listen to you fucktards tell them how this series gotta be dictated. Go, what? Are you fucking kidding me? I'm sorry, I just can't sit here and let that just happen. All right, this game is not that good. Like, overall, it's not that good. If it was just basically something else, it would be good. But the fact that I have to know that this is the 7th Resident Evil game officially, no, it's not that good. All right, just because you slap in Umbrella, like, that makes no sense. Now let's get into, I'm gonna probably do a review of Vendetta on its own, because Vendetta was a great movie. Okay, let's get into Vendetta. The CG movies, have set up games since Resident Evil 4. This is how it goes. Resident Evil 4 CG movie, Resident Evil Degeneration, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil CG movie Damnation, Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil Vendetta, and 7. And what looks out of place and what does not belong, Resident Evil fucking 7. Okay, it doesn't. You telling me that Chris was down with BCAA Silver Dagger Division, had his own commandos and everything, and all of a sudden in Part 7 he's with a new Umbrella? He despises Umbrella. He fucking hates Umbrella with every fiber of his being. He hated Wesker. He told Jake Mueller, Wesker's son, that it was business and it was personal that he killed Wesker. He told them both. So you telling me, and Wesker was associated with Umbrella more than anything, you telling me that company that brought all this suffering, that destroyed, that led to the destruction of Raccoon City, Chris is just going to join a new version of that and use that name? And don't tell me that, oh well, they named the gun that killed Evelyn, they named it Albert because they trying to turn a negative into a positive by using the name Albert. Fuck you, alright? God, that's like the whole ending of the Dark Knight Rises. Here, this is a bag that it left for you and stuff. You should use your legal name, Robin. Because his first name was Robin, so I guess we gotta identify this as Robin now. That's how you, come on now, that's how it sounds. So, now, with a lot of these young, dumb fucktards actually leading this series and leaving feedback to Capcom, you listen to the fans. You're not listening to the fans. You're listening to a bunch of casual fans. Fans who didn't play all of these games. They just came in on 7 and think 7 is great because it reminds you of so many other different games that they've been playing on the indies, and they watch their beloved Let's Play guys online play. But they don't really touch them. The game sucks, man. I'm sorry. It sucks. As Resident Evil game, how many times do I have to say that? Alright? But anyway, now that makes me think, what are they gonna do with Part 2 remake? They supposed to be listening to fans. Who are they listening to? Traditional fans, or are they listening to the fucktards that's gonna just go out there and be like, yeah, take my money. My name is Jimmy and I take what you give me. And I'll take your Jimmy in my mouth because I'm stupid. They gonna listen to those fans? They probably are. They probably gonna fucking listen to these fans. Alright? Over people that are like, look, remake the fucking game. Make it in the theme of the remake of the GameCube version, meaning like you can just enhance the backgrounds, you can make it look better, you can make everything look better, you can open up certain parts that were never there, you can add things to it, but do not fuck up how it played. Alright? I don't want no third person over the shoulder. That's what 4, 5, and 6 was for. Alright? If you remaking part 2, remake that motherfucker in tradition of the original game, but just make it much more. Alright? But now we got to hear about that. Now we got to worry about Claire not sounding like Claire, because Capcom just allowed the company that they hired to go with non-union people. So that means Allison Court is out as Claire. That means they're not even talking to Matt Mercer. They're probably not going to talk to Paul Haddad, the first guy that does Leon's voice. And they definitely not going to talk to Paul Mercier, who did Leon's voice in Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil The Generation. So that's how it works. Paul Haddad did the voice of Leon and Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil The Generation, I think Dark Side Chronicles for the Wii was Paul Mercier. And then Matt Mercer took over the voice in Resident Evil The Generation. I mean, not The Generation, Damnation. He took over that in the second CGI movie. He was in he did the voice in Resident Evil 6. He's done it in Vendetta. And probably some other stuff. So they haven't even contacted these guys because they're union workers. And Capcom is totally okay with fucking over the fans. We care for these fans. These fans had this. I know Leon went through different voice changes, but Leon got older through the series. Alright? Just as they went through voice changes with Chris. Chris is supposed to be the lead protagonist of the series, even though Leon is the most popular one. And he's went through different voice changes too. Now Roger Craig Smith is the best Chris we had, and I think he's the one that came back for Vendetta. He did the game voice in part 5 and 6 as well, I believe. Roger Craig Smith, and he did the voice of a different character in the first CG movie. He did of the Curtis, or the one who used the G virus on himself, of Curtis Miller, I believe his name was. So that's just a little quick thing of voice history on that thing. Well, anyway, back to what I'm saying. Capcom went non-union, and Allison Court put out a video, and then you got a lot of today fans like, well, I'm not gonna lose sleep over Allison Court not being the voice actor. Then you don't care about the series then. Alright? Leon is interchangeable, but you gotta have 3 of those guys. You got 2 Pauls and 1 Matt. If you really wanted to go back to the feel of the part 2, like to the tradition, and you want Leon to sound like he was young and a rookie, get Paul Haddad again. How hard is that? Alright? Well, no, maybe he's union and y'all don't want to pay him the money. Y'all don't want to pay money they deserve. You know how taxing voice acting is. People are never the same. Polyps develop on their throats. It happens with voice actors and singers. Polyps. That can mess them up and they never be the same. You don't want to give them health care? They're bringing life to characters that people like. But anyway, you're killing the series, man. Not only is Capcom, you're killing it. The fans who think 7 is the best thing since sliced bread, you're killing the series too. Alright? Because your heroes online are telling you that it's great. It's not great. If you're a fan of the series, you wouldn't think it's great. You would really be like, you know what? What is this? What is this shit? You know? And why in 7? Let me ask a question back in 7. Why did they go out their way to not show Ethan's face? Every time you got a glance of it, it just goes back into the shot. Why did they do that? That's your protagonist? Soulless? Don't try to tell me some Venom Snake shit. No, the protagonist is you. You know, it's you. The character, you're Ethan. Don't try to tell me that's the excuse for that. Because if the character's me, that means it'd be customizable, skin tones, and everything would have been, and voice, even like the timbre and stuff would be interchangeable. No. He had the same voice actor to the game. He had no charisma. He had nothing. So, and they had no face. And I'm not talking about because if you see it in third person, he had no hair. Every time they put it there, that's just a natural thing. I'm talking about the fact that he had no face. Like, even when you're freeing him out of the gunk, when you playing as Mia, they just make sure that you don't see his face. Like, why? Why would you do something so stupid? Alright? You just don't care. You don't care to have a lead character no more that has a face? You don't? Like, he's just the average Joe. Who cares about him? Like, what are you thinking with this? You got to connect to the fans. You got characters that the fans care about. Like, and they didn't even explain. They didn't even outright say he was infected. You know he was infected. How he's able to put his leg back the fuck on and just put some stuff on it and it just detached. Like, you read it already. I guess if you read the notes in the game, you would see that he clearly showed signs of infection. So I guess maybe us as gamers, if we weren't complete idiots, figured that out. Because a lot of us did. That he was infected. But why didn't Ethan fucking figure that out? You getting 2 serums and you're not worried. You worrying about Zoe and Mia. And you like, what are you going to do about yourself? If they couldn't leave the property. If they couldn't leave the property because of the infection, how you gonna leave the property? Like, that makes no sense. You display symptoms of infection. She's controlling your mind. She's showing you hallucinations. You was able to detach your leg back. Zoe was able to staple your goddamn hand back on. Staple it. And then you started using it again. But Ethan, it's oblivious to the character within the storyline of the game that he's infected. Oh, but this is a great game. You guys, some of you guys, man. Some of you guys out here, you new school fans, they don't know shit about the series. I don't know what to say anymore. I'm done with this video before I have a fucking aneurysm. So anyway, as usual, with my dog over there shaking off. So as usual, keep watching what you want, keep gaming the way you want, keep being you. But be smart about gaming the way you want. Alright? And when I say gaming the way you want, you. Don't listen to what people tell you online. You fucking play the game yourself. And if you can genuinely tell me that you like this game, like after playing past Resident Evil games, if you can go back and play the past Resident Evil games from the beginning on to now, and you could tell me, like, get deep and rooted into Resident Evil. Then you get back to me. Get deep and rooted into Resident Evil, all the games, except for the shitty raccoon ones. They don't mean nothing. They're irrelevant. I'm talking about storyline wise. Starting from Resident Evil 1 to Part 2 to Part 3 Nemesis to Code Veronica to Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6. Play those 7 games first. And then you get back to the official, the 8th, which 7, you'll know that 7 is officially the 8th title. Okay? Because if you're new, Resident Evil 3 actually was just a side story to 2. But they figured, Capcom of Japan was like, you know what? How are we going to sell a side story as a game? How are we going to make it sell? We got to turn it into Resident Evil 3. It took place in the same time as Resident Evil 2. So how is it really a sequel? Technically, Resident Evil 3 is Code Veronica. Alright? Storyline wise, Resident Evil, the 3rd Resident Evil game is Code Veronica. But that's just a little bit of fact if you didn't know. But anyway, like I said, keep watching what you want, keep gaming the way you want, keep being you, because I'm a Fury. I'm out. Catch you next time. See you at the crossroads. Crossroads. See you at the crossroads. I'm gonna miss everybody. I'm being stupid, y'all. Peace out.